When Adam Schiff, the lead House prosecutor in the impeachment trial, delivered his opening statement, he drew extremely high praise from plenty of pundits.
I thought it was dazzling. It was the second best courtroom address, since it's like a courtroom, that I ever heard.
I thought Adam Schiff's opening was brilliant. It was riveting.
It was a virtuoso performance that drew praise from all sides.
But some Fox commentators scoffed at such reactions on CNN and MSNBC.
They were too deep in bliss. To the mouth breathers on cable television, an Adam Schiff speech is like a brainstem massage. Surging waves of ecstasy flood the central nervous system.
So, Molly, we have media conservatives agreeing with President Trump, who tweeted this is lying, cheating, little Adam Shifty Schiff. And then you have all of the media praise, but just showed a small fraction, that he's drawn in his role as a House prosecutor.
What I think is more concerning is you saw some people who present themselves as straight news reporters praising Adam Schiff. These people must have no pride whatsoever. This is a man who spent years falsely claiming that he had evidence as ranking member of the Select Committee on Intelligence of Donald Trump colluding with Russia to steal the 2016 election. That was dangerous and that was damaging to the country in terms of our foreign policy and the administration of government. He had access to the same information that Devin Nunes had about the FISA applications. He told people there's nothing to worry about. They're beyond reproach. He lied about his relationship with the whistleblower. He lied about the transcript. On the day that he started his hearing, Politico said he had misrepresented evidence in this situation as well. The journalists need to hold this person accountable. There has been no accountability for Adam Schiff's dangerous and damaging lies that have hurt the American people.
But just looking at the role he played this week on the Senate floor, you had all of these people heaping praise on him. Is it in part because they agree with him? Because you don't see many journalists going on the air and saying, well, Pat Cipollone did a great job.
Yeah, I think we'll see how people react to the president's team. And I think it's very predictable how they will, right? And it goes back to the conversation we were having in the last segment. In certain places, the president's team is going to be hailed as the best orators in a generation, and in other places they will be vilified.
What about
just
this
as
vote?
It did here.
The ratings started the first day 11 million, not a great number, lower than the beginning of the House impeachment trial. The next day it was under 9 million. Fox was #1 throughout the week. This is a serious constitutional matter, but is it working as a television show?
No, it isn't. Now, and I think that's for a number of reasons, right? During the Watergate hearings, there were 3 networks. It was new. We haven't seen anything like this before. The country was riveted by it, although it took a while to get there. It took about a year for people to finally get interested in it. You saw still a lot of interest in the Clinton impeachment, but less so. I think this is now, as we progress through history, as there's more news outlets, as people become more entrenched, as social media makes every piece of news more ubiquitous, people are tuning in to traditional television coverage a little bit differently.
But now you have the broadcast networks cutting back to maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. And to the extent the Democrats are trying to use this with graphics and video clips as a forum to move public opinion, if it's not working as television, maybe it's not working.
Right, and I don't think it's just about what's happening in this current moment, because not too long ago you had explosive ratings for Robert Mueller's testimony or James Comey's testimony when people still believed there might be something to the Russia collusion issue.
Or the Kavanaugh hearings, there was suspense.
Right. These really are soul-crushingly boring. I mean, we've had to sit and watch these. It's very difficult to watch. And it's not just about the topic, which is very complicated and that people kind of have seen. They've already made their decision. Right. Either they think there's something good here or there's something wrong. But the way that the prosecution has chosen to just repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat for all day into the wee hours of the night, normal people respond to that and say, I've heard this 14 times. I don't need to hear it again.
I do think, and this is not an argument for or against, I do think if there were witnesses, you would see ratings go up. I do think if there was new faces and new information being added in, you would see more
Let me get
interest.
to this. So on Thursday, for example, we did a check. MSNBC ended up carrying 9 hours of the proceedings the whole day. CNN just under 8 hours. Fox, which has been airing more of its nighttime opinion shows, just under 4.5 hours, and that's drawn criticism. is that shortchanging the hearings, even if people think the hearings are boring?
You know, it's hard because normally an impeachment would be such a serious and grave issue. And what do you do when someone just trivially puts forth an impeachment that doesn't have much substance? Do you just have to be beholden to them hour after hour after hour? I mean, I think a little bit of this is on our politicians as well. They should know that this is an important power that should be wielded carefully and not to just abuse it and use it politically for the purpose of hurting Trump in the 2020 election or whatever the other political goals are.
You know, I'm torn about this, Mo, because I want to say this is so vitally important that it should be every word should be carried on cable news. But at the same time, it is very repetitive, 24 hours of Democratic arguments, and I find myself taking breaks or lowering the volume, and I do this for a living.
I would once again make the point that some of the people who justify decisions to cut away from coverage are also the same people who get frustrated when other networks cut away from a presidential press conference or a presidential rally where the president is just being repetitive and repeating a lot of the same problems. So,
just by way of example, when there was the Inspector General hearing, which was very fresh, very new, and kind of a conclusion to years of false coverage about the Russia hoax, a lot of people didn't cover it like they should have. You know, they gave that story ammo every day when it was on the other side, but once it was shown to be false, they didn't cover that.
Look, I think this should be covered. I think it should be covered gavel to gavel. Let the viewers decide how repetitive it is, how boring it is. But this is a big news story.
Yeah, they could always go watch Netflix.
That's right.